Hello friends, it is Danny. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm choking. Today I am going to be doing a video that I have had planned since January. It is now almost April, and that is my 2018 spring unhaul. I do an unhaul at least twice a year. It's usually in the spring and then the fall / winter around October, November. I've been piling these guys up since January, and they've just accumulated to a point where there's about 20 books here that I just don't want anymore and need space on my shelves, as you can see. And so these are the books I've decided to purge this time. There are probably a couple of more on my shelves that I could have gotten rid of, but I have a hoarding tendency, and so I didn't really want to get rid of them, so they will probably be in the next unhaul in the winter. See the stack of books right here, at least the top book is right there. So let's get into the 20-ish, I think there's 20 exactly, books that I am going to be either giving away or selling or donating. This is in no order. Like I said, I've just been pulling these off my shelves for the past couple of months. The first book that I am getting rid of is, I don't even remember the name, Wicked Sweet by Marseille Merel. I got this book 3 years ago at a book sale at the library where they give you a bag for $5 and you fill it up as much as you can. I'm starting to drift away from more middle grade / YA contemporary and more so going for the older-ish YA, if that makes any sense. And so when I read the synopsis for this again while going through my shelves, it just sounded like something I wasn't really into anymore. Next I have The Way to Be. This is an ARC version of this book, but it came out September of last year. This is by Kat what? I don't know. This is a middle grade book. I know that because the character is in 7th grade. And I think I've been holding on to it for a while in the hopes that I would read it. And as much as it does sound interesting, I just have too many newer books that I'd rather read. And so I might hold on to this one for like another week or two post this video just to see if I do want to keep it to read it. But for now, and probably indefinitely, it is in my unhaul. Then I have Vanilla by Billy Merrill. I got this book from Scholastic. It is also an ARC from when it came out. This came out in October. I did do a review of this. There are multiple reasons why I am getting rid of this book, and I know that with ARCs you cannot sell them. So with these ARCs I will definitely be giving them away to friends and not selling them because I don't break the rules like that. Many reasons why I do not want this book anymore. You can find that in my review linked in the cards on whichever side it is. I'm just not comfortable with having this book on my shelf. Next, I have an actual finished copy of a book again, and that is Control by Lydia Kang. I was 16 when I got this book, and you know, I liked it, but not enough to pick up the sequel, and the sequel doesn't match this book, and I barely remember what it was about. Next, I have The Stolen Life of A.J. Fickery by Gabrielle Zevin. I have other books by her that I actually am considering getting rid of. This book, however, was given to me like 3 years ago by my school librarians, plural, and I never did really get to it, but I never really, I don't feel like I would ever read it in the future, so I'm not going to be reading it, and so I'd rather give it to somebody who would read it. Next, I have a book that I really wanted to like, and I got 30 pages in and have never touched it since, and that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I have some feels about this book. It was just boring, and I'm not even excited for the movie, so I wasn't like interested in reading this anytime soon, and I tried to get a couple other people to read it, including Tyler, and even he was not having it, so I'm getting rid of it because it's taking up space on my shelf and I don't think I'll ever get to it. And on top of that, I read some things on Twitter about Ernest Cline that I was not comfortable with, so I will not be supporting that. Thank you very much. Next, I have Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins. I think it's vampires, question mark. It's supernatural related. I heard about this book through Ginger Reads Lainey a long time ago, and I've had this book for a couple of years and just have never gotten to it. But I'm also not really into vampire books anymore or supernatural books that much. And I don't have any of the sequels, so I figured I might as well just pass it on to somebody who will read it. That's the whole point in Unhauls for me, is like, if I'm not going to read a book, I'd rather pass it on to somebody who will. Next book I also heard from Ginger Reads Lainey, and that is The Book of Ivy by Amy Engel. I bought this book so long ago, I don't even remember. I feel like it was 7 or 8 years ago. That's how long it feels. But I honestly think it was just in the past couple of years, like the last 4 years, because I was on BookTube when I got it. I know that much. Again, I got like 15 or so pages into it. At that point, I was in a book slump, reading slump, whatever you want to call it. Could not make it through it. Also don't have any desire to continue reading it, nor do I have the feeling of finishing it in the future. So I'm gonna pass it along. Next, I have another arc that is from a while ago, and that is Me and Me by Alice Coopers. I got this book from Frenzy Presents a long time ago. It's a fairly short read. It's less than 300 pages, but I never really had the desire to read it. And so I do know some people who would actually be willing and more interested in reading this book. Oh boy, here we go. This next one, fam, I'm sorry. It's probably controversial. Don't hate me. I am getting rid of Illumini by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I picked this book up thinking I would love it because I loved These Broken Stars, the Starbound trilogy. I also really liked Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, but that was like a recent read, so I didn't know about it at the time when I picked this up. It was just that Amy Kaufman had written one of my favorite books ever, and I wanted to read more of her writing, and I thought, everybody's raving about this. Let's get it. I got 150 pages in, and I stopped reading it. I couldn't get into the world. It was too dang long. I got really bored. I was also in a slump, and like when I'm reading a book in a slump, it automatically makes me feel like I don't want to read it ever again. This book, it's the thing that put me into the slump, and so I just don't want anything to do with it. I have never really been interested after reading that first bit of it to continue it, and so I know that I paid a lot of money for this book. I also know that it is a mammoth, and I am sure there is one of my friends out there that will enjoy having this book. I have Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. I just never read it. I heard bad things about the movie, and so I just never really felt like reading it after I got it. And that sucks when you buy a book and then you feel like you don't want to read it, and I don't have any way to return it, so now I'm just going to give it to somebody else who will read it. Here's another controversial one. I am getting rid of my Arc of Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. I don't know that I ever really had the urge to read it, other than the fact that it's by people that we know here on BookTube and AuthorTube. I got this arc from Frenzy, and as grateful as I am to be having an arc of such a big book, I also feel like there are other people out there that might like this more than I would. I'm going to be letting somebody else enjoy it because I don't see myself ever getting to this beast of a book anytime soon. Next, I have The Woman Who Died a Lot by Jasper Fforde. I had a book by him in the past that I think I got rid of. This again is another book that I was given by my librarians, and I just do not feel like reading ever. Next, I have Reboot by Amy Tintera. This is the first book in a duology, and I did read it. I did read its sequel as an audiobook. I enjoyed them, but it wasn't enough to like want to reread the books, and so it was taking up space on my shelf, and so same reason, different book, Say What You Will by Cami nope, I almost said Cami Garcia. It's Cami McGovern. Next, I have Hi Hawaii by R.A. Smith. This was a book I was given in 2015 by Austin Macaulay Publishers. I just don't ever see myself reading it. Next, I have a finished copy of Dividing Eden by Joelle Charbonneau. I heard about this 2 frenzies ago, didn't get a copy, and didn't really want a copy. The frenzy that I went to after that, I ended up getting a copy in my swag bag. And so I have it, and I tried to trade it with people. I actually tried to trade it with Erica here on YouTube for Release by Patrick Ness, and she just said to keep Patrick Ness and not trade me this book. So I was like, what do I do? I was still kind of stuck with this book that I'm not interested in reading. And so I am going to be getting rid of it because I just don't know what to do with it, nor do I ever think I'm going to read it. Next, I have Top 10 by Katie Contugno. I, again, in the past have received books from Harper of Katie Contugno's books. I again received this at Frenzy Presents. I again tried desperately to trade it with somebody for a book that I actually was considering reading, and nobody would trade with me, so I ended up bringing it home because I didn't want to just abandon the book there. But I don't read Katie Contugno books. I tried reading How to Love by her, didn't like it, didn't finish it. I tried reading Fireworks by her, didn't like it, didn't finish it, and I'm not even going to try and read this one. I just don't think I am a fan of her writing style, and so I'm not going to force myself to read a book that I'm not interested in, so I'm going to be getting rid of this. This is an ARC version, so again, I will not be selling it or donating it to be sold into a store, so I will find somebody who will take this off my hands. Believe me, I got plenty of bookish friends here IRL that will love these books. Next, I have Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. I'm really sad that I paid full price for this book. I'm also really sad that I paid full price for the ebook of Ugly Love after like 3 years. I'm still really salty about that. I finished this book. I also finished Ugly Love. I was not a fan of Ugly Love at all. I have a review for that. I don't think I ever did a review for this one. Just was not a fan at all. The only Coho book I did enjoy, but now I'm kind of questioning why I did enjoy it, was November 9. I don't know if I ever did a review for that one either. This one, however, I know I did not like enough to keep as a physical copy, and as you can see right there, this shelf is completely full. And it is my new adult/adult reads, like 50 Shades, all the new adult and adult romance I could ever want, and I'm running out of room, and there's still another 50 Shades book that I need to buy, and so I need to make some space. And so this is when I decided to purge because I don't want it anymore, and maybe in the next Unhaul I might get rid of the Abby Glines books, but I have to read them first because I'm determined to read some more new adult by other authors. And the last book that I am getting rid of is another ARC, and it is All About Mia by Lisa Williamson. This book I gave at least 150 pages of. I just was not happy with how it was going. I was also not happy with the characters. I was really bored. I wanted something more from it, and it was very predictable. I think a bunch of these are actually in books that I've DNF'd, the video that I did, so I'll link that in the cards. I just was not a fan of this book. Like, I wanted more from it, but it was so predictable. It was like I didn't even have to read it to know what was gonna happen, and that disappointed me because I want to be surprised when I'm reading a book. So those are all the books I am going to be getting rid of, slash donating, slash selling, slash giving away. Yeah. Like I said, I am so sure that there could have been more books in this unhaul, but I like to do it in like shorter rounds, and I like to save some books to make sure that I'm sure that I don't want to read them before I get rid of them. And so these were the books that I was sure that I am going to be getting rid of. And I'm doing it just in time because I go to Frenzy Presents on April 8th and then I go to BookCon in June. And I know that because I'm going to BookCon, I will be coming home with at least 20 plus books from there, but I'm also doing book shopping on the Friday before BookCon at Books of Wonder, Barnes & Noble, and The Strand, so it's a dangerous concoction that weekend is, but I'm very excited to be getting new books in replacement of these guys that I am getting rid of. So that is it for this video, you guys. Comment down below if you've read any of these books and you did enjoy them, or if you're in the same boat as me where you didn't really enjoy them so you got rid of them or aren't going to read them again, etc. I don't know what my next video is going to be, but whatever it is, I will see you guys in that one.